This is the anchor rope where I had my net tied. It's still here. Obviously, I'm not here alone this time. This is just me coming back and getting closure, seeing where I lived for 2 months again. I'm anxious to see if there's any sign of my presence. I've already found the one. That's one of my anchor ropes.
Have a nice night.
Well, I'll see you next week, Wade. This is where my adventure started a year and a half ago when I got dropped off here in what I started calling Desolation Cove because it was such a hard place to be. And now that I'm back here, I'm going on 2 years since I was here, it looks exactly the same. It looks like the day I left it. It really does. It's springtime now. It's yeah, the leaves are back on the trees and things. I call this area the front porch, and that was like my workshop area. Every time I had to work on a project, I'd come down here to the beach so I could watch the ocean. And every time I come home from fishing, I'd lay all my stuff here. And I just walked up here and I almost cried. This right here is my fishing pole. This is my fishing pole. I'm going to dig this thing out and see if I can. I wonder if I still have a hook. I wondered if I could find any sign of my presence here from a year and a half ago. And I come walking up, and right on my front porch, look what I find. This is my stringer. And on the day that I left, I remember looking at it and thinking, oh, I'm not going to coil that up. It's covered in fish guts and fish blood and slime and everything, and it really smelled. It really did. And I come walking up, and there it is. It's got the nail, the rusty nail that I used to thread through the gill plates of the fish, and all this handmade cordage which I produced from the same dead rope I made my gill net with. And I remember leaving it behind. And the other thing I never thought about taking was my my fishing rod, because it's just so long. I look at my front porch, and there it is, guys. That fish hook is the hook that fed me the entire time I was here in Desolation Cove. And I used to kick myself for not bringing that hook home. I have the other hooks, the ones that were left over, the ones I didn't use, but this is the hook that kept me fed all that time. And it's going home with me this time. There's nothing being left behind. They did do a good job of cleaning up. There's nothing, anything they left out here looked just like random beach debris, and the beach is covered with that. But among that beach debris were things that I had made, and I'm going home with my stringer and my fish hook. My thoughts on being back here, extreme. Knowing that I get to go home and sleep in a cabin tonight and eat and have a shower and all that, it's a very different feeling than knowing this is where I have to make home. It feels like going back to the place where you grew up as a kid. That's what this feels like. Where it's the same place, but everything's just a little tiny bit different. You can see signs that you were here, but anyway, let's get exploring, and I'm gonna show off my cove. Let's see what's left of my trail. It looks like there is still a trail here. The ferns have definitely grown in, but this is still my trail. You can still see it here on the ground. Now, when I first came in this forest, it's all dense like this. You can see how thick the ground is, and I was looking for any place I could spend the night. I pushed in, There's a hole over here. This hole over there goes way down. You don't want to step in. I pushed in through it, and it wasn't on a trail like that. I'm just walking on the trail that I had pounded into this ground. When I came in the forest that first day, I found this little patch of moss, this little raised hummock of land here, and this is where I made my provisional shelter. This is where I set up, just some poles, made a frame here and threw my tarp over, and I slept on this moss. And that moss was nice and nice and comfortable, nice and springy. I just noticed something. There's a hole down here. That's my dead rope. And that's where I had thrown it, and I guess the crew missed this. This is the stuff I made my gill net out of, and everything I needed for cordage I made out of this stuff, which I found out on the beach. And I'm going to take some of this home with me this time. But that's something I dragged into the forest. This is the trail that leads to my shelter. Wow. This is my shelter location. Looking for anything that I might have left behind. See some rope fiber here. Little schnibbles of rope fiber. That's about the only thing I can see that they've totally broken up my bush bed. One of my sharpening stones is still on the ground. I ground that flat. And that's my sharpening stone. That's going home with me. This is my fire pit. This is some of the firewood that was left over. But you can see this is all filled in now. But here's the ring, the back end of my fire. And over here under my pack is my boom chain. I found this chain on the beach and used this as my fireplace irons, and it worked fantastic. One of my keyhole limpet shells, I had about 30 of these hanging up on a string, and they were pretty smelly. There's no way I could take them home, but this one smells great. He's going home with me. Another trophy of my time on the island. I've been sitting here just listening to the forest and how peaceful this place truly is. I can hear the surf lapping down here at the beach. I remember night after night just sitting in this spot right here, actually sitting on my wood pile, which is just down below it, and right now there's no sense of urgency at all. There's just no sense of I have to get moving or I'm not going to eat tonight. I have to build a shelter. I'm looking at this place where my beautiful shelter was, and there's no sense of urgency to rebuild it because I know I'm not spending the night here. I have everything with me that I would need to spend the night here if I had to, but Wade is just off the coast in the boat. They let me have my space here, let me have my peace, and I'm taking it. life has been crazy since the show. All kinds of things going on. Maybe as soon as this week I might be a grandfather for the first time, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm just looking forward to that news that mother and baby are fine. Erin, the daughter that walked up on me in this very spot, is going to be a mom. Pretty cool. I've returned to this place so many times in my mind when life's getting me stressed out. This is where I come. This is my happy place. This is the place that I come when life's overwhelming me. I remember the feeling of peace that I had while I was here.